Hello my dear friends, I'm Ksenia. Welcome to my channel St.Petersburg-me, and today we will be talking about the Russian economy and how it works now. From the start of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine after 24th of February, many specialists, many economical specialists were forecasting that the Russian economy would collapse by the start of June 2022, but as we see now, that didn't happen, and those specialists are making new forecasts now for the future of the Russian economy. And today I'm gonna share the Russian vision of what's happening in the Russian economy right now. And here is the time for a little disclaimer. As you know, I'm not an economist. I'm not any kind of analytical specialist who analyzes what's happening in the economy of Russia. So everything that you will hear in this video is the opinion and forecasts of Natalia Zubarevich. She is a professor at Moscow State University, and she specializes in economical geography of Russia and the development of Russian regions. So everything that you will hear is her analytical data. As far as I can understand, Natalia is not very happy about what's happening between Russia and Ukraine, and she doesn't support all of that is happening, and I trust her opinion because she's the professor at a well-known Russian university, and she has great experience in Russian economical geography, and she survived through the crisis in 90s. She was working for that university at that time, as far as I know, so I highly trust her opinion and her forecasts. And first thing to speak about here is which industries of Russia and what regions of Russia suffered the most in this economical crisis. The Russian industry that suffered the most after sanctions is automobile industry, car manufacturing. So at the beginning of 2022 there were 60 car brands in Russia, and now in December 2022 only 14 of them remained, and 3 of them are Russian brands. Those are Lada, Gaz, UAZ, and the rest, 11, is from China. So yeah, automobile industry suffered the most, and of course together with this suffered the regions who were engaged in this industry. Those regions are Kaluga region, Ulyanovsk region, Kaliningrad region, and Samara region. So in Kaluga region the decline is 29%. In Kaliningrad region the decline is 20%. In Ulyanovsk region the decline is 8%, and in Samara region the decline is 4%. So as you can see, the decline is not even. Some regions suffered the most in automobile industry, and some regions are not so affected. And if you ask the question why some regions are almost not affected by this decline and other regions are so much affected, the answer will be that Kaluga region and Kaliningrad region had the automobile plants which produced like foreign brands of cars, and such regions as Samara and Ulyanovsk were producing mainly the local brands of cars, and there were Russian plants which produced Russian cars. And if we take Samara and Ulyanovsk region as an example, we will see that the plants which owns the Russian local brands of cars have resumed the production of cars. Actually, yes, those cars are not very much technologically developed. Those are simple cars, but still the plants are working, cars are being produced, and of course we will see that the level of production is not very high, but still people are engaged, people are working, they get salary. On the whole, the car production in Russia was reduced by 2/3. Only 36% of car production in Russia remained. The next industry that suffered the most after sanctions was wood processing industry. So if we take it by numbers, so we will get the next. So the plywood production was reduced by 37%. The cellulose production was reduced by 8%. And of course, the reduction mainly hit the north and western part of Russian Federation. So those regions are Leningrad region, Karelia, Republic of Komi, Murmansk, Arkhangelsk, and some others. So this reduction was mainly caused by Europeans banning the shipment of wood goods to their countries. The next industry to suffer was metal industry and the manufacturing of mill products such as profiled rolled stock, profile iron, flat rolled products. So those were reduced by 16%. The production of steel was also reduced by 16%. And the regions to suffer the most regarding that industry were Vologda region and Lipetsk region. Coal industry suffered as well. The production of mineral coal dropped by 7%. The production of K-rank coal was reduced by 7%. And the regions that suffered the most in this industry were Khakassia and Kemerovo region. And now let's talk about an industry that provokes the most disputes among the experts. And let's talk about the extractive industry of Russia. So extractive industry is mainly gas and oil. So if we speak about oil, the production of oil was reduced in Russia by 1%. However, some regions showed the increase of oil production, and gas production reduced by 20%. However, now Russia is engaged in looking for Asian oil market instead of European oil market, and now everything is made in that direction. So one question here is the cost of transportation of that oil that will be transported to Asia, because you know the embargo started working only like 6 days ago, and there are some questions about the insurance and the cost of transportation. However, that we will see, I don't know, like maybe in 3 or 4 months from now. At that time, we will see the more distinctive picture of what will be going on. And now let's talk about the regions such as Samara with more or less diversified industries. So as I have said before in this video, Samara has suffered greatly in case of automobile industry. So there was a very big reduction in production. However, if we speak about the extractive industry in this region, it experienced a little increase. So the increase was by 7 or 8%. So we see that it is more or less, stays good, if I can say it so. So as well, chemical production also works in this region. So this region is doing not so very good, not so very bad, somewhere in the middle, somewhere there. And of course, if we speak about the economy, we should speak about the retail too. So nowadays, the most open data is for Moscow region, and St. Petersburg. So if we speak about the retail in those regions, we will see that overall the drop of retail was by 10%, but if we speak about non-food retail drop, that was about 14%, and that is quite a big percent because people started to watch their expenses to they are trying to reduce their expenses because people are in the situation that we don't know what will be tomorrow. So of course people are trying to reduce some levels of their expenses. Also, Natalia Zubarevich says that she didn't see any significant drop in expenses for restaurants in Russia, and here is why. If we speak about the richest Russians, so before they were eating in the most expensive restaurants, and now they also eat in the most expensive restaurants. So we didn't see any significant drop of incomes of the most expensive restaurants. However, the restaurants that suffer the most here are restaurants with average prices, because middle class people were going to those restaurants to have their meals, and now middle class people are watching closely for their expenses and they are trying to reduce their expenses. That is why. When we speak about the transportation segment of the Russian economy, we will see that the transportation by rail dropped by 4 to 5%. However, if we speak about the container sector of the Russian economy, we will see the next picture. The container terminals in the Baltic region are half empty. However, the container terminals in the Far East region are overbooked, are over their capacity, are working like to the fullest. If we speak about the container terminals on the Black Sea, they are somewhere in the middle. If we speak about the capacity, they are not doing good and they are not doing bad, so they're in between, somewhere in between. The production of potassium fertilizers dropped by half in Russia, mainly because there is no way to transport them to the markets other than European market. Also, Natalia Zubarevich gives her forecast about unemployment in Russia, and according to her, there will be no significant spike in unemployment in Russia mainly because people left. We know that many people left Russia for other countries, and because the technology in Russia was simplified significantly, because Western companies who sold technologies to Russia are now not selling them. So, for example, if we speak about some production that used robots and machines, so such industries will need people, because there will be no opportunities to maintain those robots and machines and to buy new ones. That's why those factories and plants will need the real people's hands, and they will be hiring new employees to their factories. That's why unemployment forecast by Natalia Zubarevich for Russia is not very bad. It's actually quite okay, let's put it like that. For example, the Russian car manufacturer Avtovaz, which is located in the Russian city of Tolyatti, has recently posted 4,000 vacancies and mainly because they are transferring their production line from Ijevsk to Taliati, and of course just because they are producing the cars of more simple models. That's why they are hiring. Actually, in spring, we heard many experts say that the Russian economy will collapse no later than the start of June 2022. However, that didn't happen, and mainly because the Russian economy turned out to be very inert, and of course parallel import saves the situation. So many spare parts and of course electronics are coming to Russia via this parallel import, and of course that will maintain some of the Russian industries which needs spare parts and some kind of electronics. And of course, if we speak about the electronics that we need for our daily life, like smartphones, like chips in our, for example, computers and other goods, of course we will have them. However, they will become more expensive for me, for example, as a consumer. And hello, my dear friends, from Ksenia, the editor. And while I was editing a new video for you today, I just found out that I forgot to tell you one more point from Natalia Zubarevich. So she doesn't have any illusions about the Russian economy. She anticipates that the Russian economy will continue shrinking, and this shrinking will be a long-term, very slow, but direct shrinking. So she doesn't expect any steep collapse, any drastic collapse, but really firm, long-term shrinking of the Russian economy. So if you know Russian, I highly recommend you to watch the interviews with Natalia Zubarevich. You will easily find them on YouTube. And also I trust one more expert in economy of Russia, and his name is Sergei Guriev. However, he doesn't live in Russia anymore. He lives in France, and as far as I know, he teaches economy in France. So I trust his opinion too, and you can also find the interviews with Sergei Guriev easily on YouTube. So I highly recommend you to watch them if you want to know the state of affairs in Russia right now. And also, I want to tell you that I introduced memberships on my channel, and if you are interested to communicate with me a little bit more close and in a deep way, so please choose one of the 5 tiers, and please welcome to St.Petersburg-me memberships. So my dear friends, thank you for watching, thank you for being with me, thank you for all your likes and subscriptions and comments, and see you in the next video. Bye!